everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. A very warm welcome to you. My name's Emily and I am a knitter, crocheter and very occasional sewer. Today's episode is my 2023 year wrap up. At long last. This has been a long time in the making. It is the first time I will be doing a proper year wrap up, because last year was technically the first full year of doing YouTube for myself. I started YouTube back on the 1st of December in 2022. I started with Vlogmas, as you do. And yeah, so I didn't actually have a full year on YouTube in 2022. I only had a month. So it didn't make sense to do a full year wrap up. But now that I have finally done a complete full year on YouTube, I can actually recap 2023 with yourselves, and hopefully you'll understand and you'll remember some of the things if you've been here with me for a little bit of time. If not, it will be a nice exercise to kind of welcome you into the world of me and what I like to make and the sort of projects. I mean, I do have a little pile of projects here, not many, because I only wanted to show you a couple. But sorry, I'm just moving my tea. But yes, I have already recorded this video, and unfortunately the footage had no sound. That is a first for me, so I think I just didn't plug my mic in properly or something like that, I don't know. But hopefully we're not going to have that issue now, fingers crossed. I'm not entirely sure if you will see some of the prior footage, because I did split the video in two, and that second bit of footage did have sound. So there must have been something I did in between both videos, I don't know. But anyway, I am re-recording. So hopefully I don't miss anything. But we're going to get stuck in because I'm very tired and I am quickly losing the light. So yes, here we go. As I said, I've never done this before, so I have just created some headings that I think are going to work as a format. So bear with me, I'm kind of winging it. We're just going to go with how it flows. But as I say, I do have some headings because there were a couple of points that I wanted to hit in this video. So to start with, I am going to look back at my plans that I had for 2023. So at the start of 2023, I did a video on, quite an in-depth video actually, going back and looking at it, a video of all the plans that I had for 2023. Now the plans that back then that I thought were important were the projects, which is kind of important, but equally I will explain, you'll understand why I'm kind of rethinking my format when it comes to plans for a year anyway, because yeah, let's get into it. I wrote down all of the plans that I mentioned in that video. There were 22 of them that I pointed to that I really wanted to make in 2023. And looking at the list, there are a number on there that I would quite like to still make. So they're definitely plans that obviously I do want to do. A couple of them, so I've got 2022 Sock Club socks. Obviously I want to finish those. And the same with the 12 Birds of Christmas. I do want to finish those, but I've not counted them as finished, or I'm not counting them as completed in 2023 because obviously I've still got some more socks to make and I still have some more birds to make. So technically that project isn't, as a whole, isn't finished. And then I've got some other projects that I'm looking at and I'm thinking, I do have the yarn for it, but I'm not a fan of the yarn. And, you know, our tastes change throughout, but there are a lot of projects on here that I do really like. So what this has highlighted to me is that my plans video needs to be slightly different, and I also would like to track the plans that I have. So on my tablet at the minute I have a tracker for my works in progress and my finished objects. It just helps me keep track of everything. I know where I'm at, I know what I finished, so when it comes to doing podcasts or month-end wrap-ups, I know exactly what I need to grab and what information I need. Now in terms of plans, I don't track them. The only way I track them is by going back to older videos and checking what I actually said. They are up here, but they're not as reachable as everything else, basically. And plans change throughout the year, don't they? So I think what I'm going to do is for my 2024 plans video, I will touch upon a couple of plans that I do really want to make. So I'm not going to go as wild as I did in 2023, but I'm going to keep a note of them so that I can review next year and see how I got on. So the format for my 2024 wrap-up video is going to be a bit different, and I think that's why it's taking me so long, because I'm just not quite sure what I want to touch on completely yet. There's a lot of points that I do want to touch on, but yeah, it's just taking me a little bit longer, so that video will be with you hopefully soon. But anyway, there were 22 projects that I had planned for 2023, of which I only actually completed 5 of them. So that tells you why I'm rethinking the plans video. I think the plans videos work a lot better in terms of a monthly plan. So when I do my month-end wrap-ups, I mention a couple of projects I really want to cast on over the next couple of months, whether it be the next month or the month after. I mention a couple of projects that are high on the list of my plans. So I'm going to track them better, and I'm not going to jump in with 22 plans for 2024, because clearly, I mean, it might work better if I keep track of them, but yeah, that didn't work quite so well. In terms of other craft plans for 2023, I had none because I didn't have a proper year-end wrap-up for 2022. I only touched upon Advent projects that I worked on in 2022, and it was just the one. It was the Dust of Snow wrap, and I believe I finished that in December, but I just touched upon it in my Advent wrap-up thoughts and feelings video, because there's no point wrapping up a year that you've not been on that journey with me. So there were none last year for other crafts. On to the next section, which is going to be other mentions. So in terms of other mentions, I am going to use this section, and I am just going to mention anything that was new for 2020 myself in 2023, jumping years here. Anything that really stood out to me, really, on my crafting journey. So the first one that stood out to me and was new, it was I went to my first ever yarn festival or yarn show in 2023, and that was Yorkshire Yarn Fest, and I believe it was in March. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was in March, and I had a whale of a time. It was wonderful. It was really nice to get a feel for what a yarn event is like. Obviously there were a lot of vendors, and the venue was beautiful. It was just a really nice event. I got to meet a lot of yarn dyers, a lot of crafters. It was just such a nice place, such a lovely, lovely time. I then also went to Stollen and Voller towards the latter end of 2023, which was also kind of a yarn show, festival, yarn show. I don't know quite what to call them, but anyway, it was amazing. It is local to me, which made it even better. And that event was a lot smaller of an event. There were only a handful of vendors there, and it was just such an intimate event. It was so nice, but I still came across a lot of new vendors that I've never heard of before, yarn dyers, other crafters. Yeah, it was just a really nice event. So that was another thing that stood out in 2023. And I also went to my first workshop, my first yarny workshop in 2023, and that was the Toft workshop at Kew Gardens, and it was in July. So that was really, really nice. I really enjoyed myself there. And I also got to meet the absolutely wonderful Michelle from Shell Star Stitches. So another YouTuber. If you haven't heard me mention her before, she's an amazing YouTuber. Her content is wonderful. I highly recommend you checking her out. She'll be linked below just in case you want to check her out, but I do highly recommend it. She's brilliant. But yes, I did get to meet her. She is so wonderful, and I look forward to hopefully seeing her again at the next workshop that I go to. I think that's booked for May. So Michelle, if you're on the workshop in May, I will see you then. I'm very excited. But yes, those are the things that stood out to me in 2023. It was such a fun year, and I managed to do a couple of new things that I've not done before, so that was good. Right, on to the finished objects for the year of 2023. So, in total, I finished 40 items, 40 projects I finished. Yeah, that's quite, I feel like that's quite a few for me. But then I've never actually counted before. This is the first time I'm counting, so it'll be interesting to see next year, like compare and see what it is. Not that it's, you know, anything in particular, but it's just nice to track these things. But it was 40 total. That included 3 items that were sewn. It also included 18 items that were crochet and 19 items that were knitted. So I'm going to start with the sewing. There were 3 items. I finished, one of which was a top. It's actually upstairs now, but it's a slightly oversized top. It was a really nice top. So that was my t-shirt that I finished. And then I also sewed up some project bags. So here is one. I love these project bags. These are the Finch bucket bags, and they are by Stitch Mischief, I believe. I will have the pattern linked below. It's a brilliant pattern. Yeah, I just absolutely love this pattern, and I made 2 Christmas bags. Really, really good. So that was my sewing escapades from last year. Not many, but I did want to include those in there because it is what I do. I do a lot of different crafts, and I think it's nice in the wrap up just to include those in there. Now, in terms of crochet and knitting, I was very surprised that the numbers are actually quite on par with each other. I was expecting there to be heavily knitting projects over crochet. I did not expect the numbers to be so close. So that was quite an eye-opener for me, and it was quite interesting to do this, to plan for this video so that I could see that. And I think obviously the main reason for that is because of all the Toft dolls. So these dolls, these birds up here, obviously they're counted in that because they were finished in 2023. And I mean, there's 2, 4, there's 6 up there. I've got 1 down here to show you. So in terms, I have split that number a little bit more just so you've got a general idea of the kind of things I like to make for each craft. So in crochet, total was 18. And then I made 16 dolls or animals. I'm not entirely sure stuffies maybe. I made 16. And then I made 2 shawls / cowls. So yeah, obviously very, very heavily leaning towards the sort of stuffy area, I should say. So I'm going to show you one of my favourites. This is Gilbert the pheasant. He is one of the 12 birds of Christmas. I believe he is bird number 5. I was trying to remember where I grabbed him from. I think he's bird number 5. I have enjoyed working on these birds so much, and I am going to be quite sad when they're all finished because I really like making these legs. But yes, I do have to make a Lydia the goose, so the grey goose that's here. I do have to make one for my parents, so I'm very, very excited to make her again, basically. But yes, so I've made a lot of these in 2023, and I think that is purely because I discovered Toft in 2022, and I have so many Toft kits that I need to do. So there will be more this year, obviously, because it's just what I like. So yeah, these are what was heavily made in terms of my crochet in 2023. Now onto my knitting. Again, I broke these down into different sections. The first section is socks, of which I made 3. I then have shawls / cowls again, and I made 6. And then for blankets, I made 1. For garments, I made 3, and for other, I made 6. So that totals 19 for knitting. So I've got a couple of things to show you from my knitting from last year. One of which is this little baggie. These are actually my socks from the sock club. This was the collaboration between Twinset and Pearl, who designed the patterns, and then Botanical Yarn, who dyed the yarn. This was from 2022's sock club. I still have a number to finish, and the reason they're in this baggie is because I wanted to finish all of them, not wear them until they're all finished, photograph all 12 pairs of socks. That's what I wanted to do, which is why they're still in this bag and they've not been worn yet. But yeah, that's that. So in terms of the socks, oh yeah, I forgot I did that. I forgot I made one shorter than the other. So silly. Typical, hey? So obviously I made 2 here. There was one other sock. I'm not going to go into this too much, but these are some of the socks that I made, and I absolutely loved this pattern. This is the Nemesia Carnival socks by Twinset and Pearl, and the yarn is by Botanical Yarn. These were probably my favourite socks that I made last year. They're absolutely gorgeous. If I quickly show you, on the front you have absolutely gorgeous lacework and there's some cabling going on, and then on the back it's a different design. So it's that sort of almost ribbing with cabling going on as well. Just beautiful socks. I really loved this pattern. It's just gorgeous. So that's a little show of some of the socks. Well, my favourite sock that I made last year. Then I'm going to go into shawls and cowls. What do I have? So I have two to show you. I have a cowl, so I'll start with that. And this is the Shift Cowl by Andrea Mowry, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. I believe it's designed to work with spin cycle yarn. So it's a self-striping yarn, but it also has, I wonder if I can show you. My throat's getting a bit dry, hang on. So I don't know if you can see, but it is fingering weight yarn. I wonder if I can point to one. Here we go. So here, just here, you can see that there are two different colours of yarn in one. So it's self-striping, and I believe it's 2-ply, and each ply is different. I hope I'm explaining that well. The yarn I used was Zauberball Crazy, and it just looks so good. I'm so pleased with it. It was such a fun pattern because I just wanted to get onto the next section and see how it would look. But it is absolutely beautiful. I do highly recommend giving it a go, and I would say this is probably my favourite cowl of 2023. Now, in terms of shawls, let me grab it. This one is quite a special one, and this is my Find Your Fade shawl, again by Andrea Mowry. I'm just a huge fan, basically. But this shawl is gorgeous. I've been wanting to make it for so long, and what I really love about this particular shawl, the one that I made, is that I used my stash, which is just fantastic. I would love to use more of my stash, if I'm honest. But this pattern is designed to work with 7 different skeins of yarn. You can use it with advents if you want, or you might need like more than one advent, I'm not sure. But I'm sure if you did the maths, you could figure out how to spread the yarns throughout the shawl. But I used the 7, and they were 7 skeins of yarn that were just sitting around. They were all West Green Loft yarns, and I have a thing where I see a particular colourway and I absolutely adore it, and I'll buy it without thinking about what I'm going to use it for. So I'm looking at a bucket over there. I have a number of skeins of yarn that are just random. They're beautiful in their own right, but I have no plans for them, and they don't necessarily go with anything else. So that's what these were, but they actually worked together in a really nice fade because I had so many of them. And I wanted this shawl to be a celebration of all things West Green Loft yarn because I absolutely adore their yarn, and I think this just really does help those colours sing really, really nicely. And it was such a fun project to make as well. Really good use of a lot of yarn. And yeah, really loved it. Fantastic. So that was probably my favourite shawl of the year. I'm just going to have a quick sip of my tea. Hang on. Okay, so what's the next section? Blankets. Right, I only have the one blanket, so there's only one to show you. And it's this rather jazzy number. There we are. This is I believe it's the Anthology Throw by Helen Stewart. It was part of her Knit Vent 2022, was it? It was last year's Knit Vent bundle, not last year, it was the year before's Knit Vent bundle. And it's designed to work with 24 20-gram mini skeins. And one thing I would say about this pattern is please swatch before you get stuck in, because I used 20-gram minis and there were a couple of times that I ran out of yarn. Only just ran out of yarn, but I did run out. So I would say, I'm a very loose knitter, so I would just say, just check your tension on this before you get stuck in, because it does use the majority of the yarn. It's such a fun project. It's really lovely. And when you cast off, you just get that aha moment, because obviously when you're knitting it, it's really bunched up and it looks really odd. but then when you cast off, it just looks fantastic. It looks really good. So the yarn I used is my hand-dyed yarns. This is Apex yarn, and I dye my yarn inspired by motorsport. And what I thought would be fun with this blanket was to just knit it up using all the colours to that point that I had dyed for my shop. So it's kind of like a little memory blanket of, is it 2022 colours? Yes, it was, I believe, 2022's colourways. So yeah, it's quite nice for me to look at this because I can see like where this blue is. From here to where this blue is was my first shop update. Then we have these really bright pinks and yellows. That was my second shop update. And then from this blue to the end of the shawl blanket was my third update. So I think it's really nice for me to look at this. They don't necessarily go together. I recognise that. This is technically a sample for my shop, just so that I can demonstrate how the colours knit up, how they look, and just a general palette, if you will, of the colours. There are obviously more colours in my shop now. I have dyed more colourways, but I just thought this would be a fun little exercise. That probably looks better, doesn't it? I thought, yeah, there we go. A nice fun little exercise to demonstrate the colours that I have dyed. It's kind of, yeah, a little achievement board, if you will. I don't know, but I really like it. The pattern, as I say, absolutely gorgeous, so much fun. And that was my blanket. Right, I made 3 garments in 2023, of which my favourite was, this is going to be absolutely no surprise to anybody, but this was my favourite. And this is the lovely Pink Fizz by Andrea Mowry. And again, another Andrea Mowry pattern, what can I say? This pattern, it was a labour of love, absolutely loved every minute of making it. I did start blocking it as I went, just so that I could get the fit to be perfect, because I wanted this to fit exactly how I wanted it, and it was amazing. You can see that it's held, I've got a fingering weight yarn held together with some mohair, so it's got a bit of fluff going on. You can't really, there you go. I don't know what you're seeing. I hope you're seeing something nice. But anyway, it's got these beautiful lace panels on the front and on the back. And honestly, I cannot stop wearing this. It's really warm, it's really cozy, and I love the way it fits. I love the way it feels. It's just my favourite. And I do feel like I want to make another in a different colour and maybe make the hem a bit longer. I'm not sure, but I do love it, and it is my favourite garment of 2023. Now, in terms of other, there was 6 in there, and they are all the same pattern. And the reason I put other is because I don't know what else to call them, but they are all these. So these are yarn cozies. So as you can see, there is a cake of yarn in there, and this is the cozy. So the cozy, the idea of these are just to put your yarn in, and then it just keeps everything nice and tidy. This pattern is by Knitting Natty. It is her yarn Cozy Light. She does it for 100 gram skeins, she does it for 50 gram skeins, and I believe she does it for 20 grams as well. Sorry, cakes, not skeins, once you've caked them up. She also has a crochet version of this. So this is the knitted pattern. I have only just bought the crochet pattern, and I'm looking forward to doing some crochet yarn cozies. Yarn cozies are great because they use up leftover yarn. So for example, from my Find Your Fade shawl, there was quite a lot excuse me, there was quite a lot of leftovers, some colours more than others, but yes, I've managed to make a number of this wasn't from the yarn cozy, this was from my Frank shawl, I believe. Is it my Frank shawl? Yes, my Frank shawl. So leftover yarns, if you've got quite a lot of leftover, a yarn cozy is fantastic. So yeah, I made 6 of them last year. Right, so yes, that covers all of the finished projects and a couple of my favourites. Now, in terms of my overall favourite make from last year, I have one, obviously, and I think you're all going to know what that is. It is obviously my Pink Fizz. This is my favourite overall make from 2023, and I think it's because it is a wearable. I wear it all the time. It's in a colour that I think looks nice on me, and I need to learn from this because I put a lot of love into, sorry, there was a bit of fluff on it. I put a lot of love into this project, and I think it shows in the fact of how it fits me and just how it's made, and I just really love it. I love it so much. So that is my favourite project from 2023. Now, let me think. Oh, yes. Let me know below what your favourite project of 2023 was. Whether you finished it or not, just let me know below, because I'm always intrigued to see what you are working on, and I'm also intrigued to see what kind of projects you like. I'm always on the hunt for new projects, not that I should be, but yeah, I always like seeing what other people make. I always enjoy seeing what other people are interested in terms of projects. So for me, I think you can see, sorry, I've got a really moist nose. For me, obviously, I am quite big on shawls. That's something that I really like. Obviously, the Toft items. Yeah, I'm surprised at my number of socks, actually. It's quite low for me. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure why that is, but it is a bit low for me. But yeah, let me know some of your favourites. If you want to let me know your numbers, please feel free. It's always intriguing to see how much people get done. Equally, it's just, I mean, previous years, I don't think I've got as many projects finished as I have this year. A lot of those with them being these Toft items. The Toft items happen really fast. So obviously those numbers build quite a lot. I would really like to make more garments, and definitely I would like to do more socks, because I feel like I have slacked a bit in terms of socks this year. Last year, oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm always intrigued to see what other people make, so please let me know definitely what your favourite make of 2023 was. Very intrigued. Right, now I will briefly touch upon Advent, because as I did last year, I just did a brief sum up of my Advents. And in terms of the Advents, I'm happy that they are both now finished. I basically did 2 Advent projects during Advent season. And I think 2 was a little much. I was asking a little much of myself. And me being me, I was trying to keep up with the days. Probably a mistake, because there was no way it was going to be humanly possible to keep up. But I tried. And I think definitely for this year, for 2024, I am not going to be so hung up on trying to keep up with both projects. I think I will do the same. I will have the Toft Advent, and I will also have another project on the go as well. But that other project, it's going to be more of a back burner. I'm going to focus on Toft and have the other project as a back burner. So let me show you them. This was the first one. This was the Trifle Wrap by Helen Stewart, and I used my Sakami Yarn Advent to make this shawl. Wrap even. Anyway, I absolutely adored the yarn. This Advent was perfect for this wrap. It was enough colour change and enough differences that they really stood out, and you can see each of the colour changes quite nicely. So I was really happy with that. Obviously there are a couple of sections where they do kind of merge a bit, and I did have to change some colours round. But you know, I mean, if you're giving yourself a bit more time on the project, then you'll be able to do that. So I think that's definitely something I want to do for next year. Equally with this project, if I hold it up this way, this pale chevron here, this was one colour, which is kind of obvious. But what I'm trying to explain here is that for me, that amount of knitting in a day is a lot, and there was no way that I would have been able to do that every day and keep up. So I was setting myself up for failure, basically, trying to keep up. But it is such a fun wrap, and I think maybe if I had cut out one of these chevrons, in which Helen Stewart does give you the instructions on how to remove a chevron or add a chevron, so you can change the width of the wrap, which is great. I think if I had removed a chevron, I might have been able to keep up with it. But yeah, those are just some thoughts on the wrap. But either way, it's absolutely brilliant. I loved it, and I do highly recommend it. And I think that the Advent that I chose to use for this wrap, I think was perfect. It was absolutely gorgeous, and I really enjoyed making it. and taking you on that journey with me. It was really good fun. So the final advent, hang on, it's over there. The final advent that I had and made throughout December was the absolutely lovely Toft. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to hold them up. His hat's going wonky. Oh my goodness, this is going to look terrible, by the way, but I'll show you them all individually. So it's the Toft Advent, which was the Nutcracker. So I'll hold them all up individually. So here is the Sugar Plum Fairy. She is really, really lovely. I've got an itchy face. There we go. She's absolutely gorgeous with her little tutu and her little bun at the top of her head. I think it's gorgeous. Oh, she's got a whisker on her face. See, now this is a gripe I have. But anyway, we're just going to finish off showing you. So here is the Sugar Plum Fairy. Then he's lost a whisker because it was attached to the Sugar Plum Fairy. We have the Mouse King, who is lovely. We had to crochet with ribbon, which was brilliant. Also did beading for the first time, which was great. Yeah, really, really liked him. He's just very sweet and looking very dapper. I need to re-put his other whisker in. And then the other one was the lovely, oh, your hat's a little low. There we are. The Nutcracker, I suppose, the soldier. Also, your beard's a bit of a mess. There we go. And with this one, we got to sew with chain, which is at the top of his hat there. There we go, top of his hat. And then we also got to do a bit of work with some roving. So that's what this is here. His beard and his moustache, some roving. So that is unspun wool. And he's got his little staff here as well. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed the projects. I was a bit unsure to begin with because I am not the biggest fan of the mini dolls on Toft. Whenever I look on their website and I look at some of the dolls, I always gravitate towards the medium sized dolls over the mini dolls. I'm not a big fan of them. And I'm not sure why that is. Yeah, I don't know why that is. So I was a bit apprehensive when I knew that we were doing 3. But as they were building, they were looking absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely loved the process, loved learning the new techniques. It was brilliant. And yeah, it was just nice seeing them come together and actually looking at the final products. I really, really like them. So I'm really happy. I did hope for one big item because I know last year it was a bird, and I think the year before possibly a bird, and then one year it was probably a medium-sized doll was one year. So that's kind of what I was expecting. So I was a bit unsure, I would say, when I realised we were doing 3 dolls, but I loved it. I will definitely do it again. And yeah, I absolutely love the final result, and I'm really looking forward to Christmas when I can bring them out again and probably sit them up there, or I don't know, arrange them around the house. So I'm very, very excited about that. The only gripe that I do have is the Mouse King's whiskers. So as you can see, there they are. They are only just poked through, which is why I have a whisker here that has come out. And I'm a bit concerned when I pack him away that the same will happen again and the rest of his whiskers are going to fall out. So yeah, I'm just a bit apprehensive about those. But other than that, loved it. Absolutely brilliant. So Advents were a win-win all round, and I'm so happy that they are finished now. They did take me a little while to finish. And I think that's because of there's so many different things to do on the mini dolls that I was just getting a bit, not overwhelmed, but I just didn't want to do anything fiddly, especially when I was so tired with work, and I was quite ill in December as well, so that didn't help. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed my Advent projects. Loved my Advents that I had. I've got 2 more that I need to figure out projects for, so I'm very excited for that. So 2023 was a fantastic year, and I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you who have joined me in the last year, and a massive welcome to all of you who are new around here. And I hope that you will stick with me for 2024, because I'm very excited to just see what 2024 brings. And also I'm very excited to get stuck in to a lot of the new projects. I do have some plans and a couple of them are deviating a little bit, and a couple of other ones I just find extremely exciting. So please stay tuned, not right now, but at some point I promise I will have the 2024 plans video for you. I would like to think I can record it this week, so it's actually Wednesday the 17th of January today. I'm pre-recording ready for Saturday because I need to edit and everything like that. But basically I would like to have the video ready by the latest next week, because I'm running out of time basically to give you a 2024 plans video, but it is on the cards and I am working on it, so please bear with me on that. I will get it to you as soon as I can because I'm excited to record it, because I really want to set out and just get out there my plans and kind of let you know what I'm thinking and what I want to do in 2024. So once again, thank you so much for watching. It always means the absolute world to me. I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of the weekend and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.